So red line's around 6.5. There you go.
I don't think this is fake.
No, that's
you cannot fake this.
You felt the kick on the upshift. You felt the kick, and you feel where the burbles came from. Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Car Talk. In this one, we're here with John Chmier. He's a good friend of mine, and he's also the general manager for Alfa Romeo Maserati. Maserati's been releasing a whole lot of cool cars recently.
Yes.
Is this the comeback for Maserati?
We'll find out soon.
Yeah. So let's talk to the pro, the expert on the brand, and we'll learn more in this video. So Maserati making a comeback. What's the big change for Maserati that you're seeing this year?
So the biggest change is the model lineup, as you mentioned about it, because we used to have Quattroporte, the flagship sedan, the Ghibli mid-size sedan, and Levante SUV, and now they're all fading away actually in the next few months. And Maserati in 2021. They released MC20 as a halo model. And in 2024, they released the new Gran Turismo. They literally stick to the design language of the previous version, but now they modernized it, I would say, with the new engine, new infotainment system, enhanced insulation and aerodynamics, and also to have some high volume. They also released the Grecale,
That's right.
which is a main competitor of Porsche Macan.
Yeah, and the Grecale is going to be an important factor for Maserati if that has to be successful for the brand to do well, right?
Yes. So basically, Maserati has tried doing what Porsche has done a couple decades ago with Cayenne when they did launch the Levante for the first time. But now they want to basically enhance their portfolio and then have something smaller size and have a wider range of buyers, potential buyers, to reach to the brand with more affordable prices and more practical vehicles.
It comes in all kinds of model trims, right? It has the EV variant, it has the ICE variant. There isn't a hybrid variant, I don't believe.
There is a 48-volt mild hybrid version that comes with 2-liter 4-cylinder engines and full EV version. So there is no plug-in hybrid, either mild hybrid ICE engine or full EV, which is a Folgore trim level, meaning thunder in Italian. Maserati is going into EV, let's say, world also.
Yeah.
And they name their EV trims of each model as Folgore.
Part of the arrangement I have with John is that we're going to go out in one of these cars. Obviously not the MC20. That would have been a dream, but we'll save that for the summer.
Maybe in the summer.
It's winter. It's cold. It's minus 15 outside. Yeah, we were filming. Thank you for all, kind of working through all that with me. My hands are almost done. So we get to take out the Grecale?
Yes, we'll drive a Grecale Trofeo today. 3-liter V6 90-degree engine, net-tuner engine. Actually, it has the same engine as the MC20, but detuned version.
Yeah.
And since it's winter, we'll have a winter-friendly vehicle.
Yeah. It is the top of the line for the Grecale as well, right? The Trofeo.
Yes.
So I'm pretty excited. Let's go into the drive, and we'll continue this conversation there.
Okay,
Let's get to it.
Yeah, of course.
We're in the car, and we're going to go for a drive, and we're going to just talk about the Grecale Trofeo and learn more about this car and how it compares with the competition out there. Let's go.
You can experience it yourself at some point too.
I hope,
of course,
yeah.
And share your feedback.
Yeah. First thing, getting into the car, it's high quality stuff.
They use fine Napa Italian leather and nice screens. There are 5 different screens, digital screens on the car, and the seats are comfortable. At least from my perspective, because I'm very picky about the seats, car seats. They are nice, comfortable. The ride, you'll experience how it is, and share your feedback with the followers.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. Let's go.
Let's go.
Sounds pretty amazing too. So Maserati's entering this whole SUV market. It's a very competitive market. In your opinion, what sort of sets this brand apart, or this car apart from the rest?
My honest opinion is actually the rarity of the car. First thing first, because they all are proven in their segments. BMW X3, Mercedes GLC AMG section, Porsche Macan, you name them, or Jaguar F-Pace. But most of them are mass production vehicles compared to Maserati Grecale. Compared to all these big, nice brands, it is still a low volume brand.
Yeah.
One thing that I would personally choose is not to have an identical car parked next to my car when I go to a restaurant or a grocery shopping or something like that.
Yeah.
So that's what basically sets the benchmark, in my opinion. It's the rarity. Besides that, of course, the performance, handling, fit and finishing, all those.
The Macan, there's so many variants of it. And it feels like every single person on the street has one now. Speaking of which, we're actually following. It is a Macan EV.
Yes, it's a Macan EV.
And it's a dealer plate, so you know where it's coming from.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, it's from our sibling store. They are probably doing a test drive. So yes, actually, I'll tell you a story about this, and the followers and viewers are going to get the message. So my fiance was shopping for an SUV to change her previous car, and she has always wanted a Macan, and she was looking for a Macan. And since I was working at Maserati, I asked her to actually drive both and see the difference. And they're pretty much the industry leaders in their segments, especially Macan. Now the Grecale is pretty new in this segment, but she was sold on how rare the Grecale is, or how common actually the Macan was when she was shopping. She liked the car, but the selling point was just the rarity in this case.
Yeah.
What I'm trying to say is they're all proven vehicles. They all drive well. Macan's handling is razor sharp compared to this one. I find it better in terms of like handling, but they both have different pros and cons. So it's up to the consumers, the driver's satisfaction and needs, basically. In our case,
it's making some music.
Yes, it's for the signal. And now nice. Even this is different.
Yeah,
it's an Italian way. They wanted to stand out. Yeah, what I was saying is, yes, exactly. Macan drives nice. They are all proven cars. I wouldn't put BMW X3M in this segment. It wouldn't be fair to X3M because of the price standpoint and fit and finishing and all.
That's true. It's about, I think people were saying it's $20,000 less, but you get more options and things like that, right? This is more of a premium.
Exactly. And what stands out in Maserati Grecale case is there are so many standard options, even compared to Macan, that even a consumer buys a base Grecale, whatever the trim level is, the car comes with a lot of features as standard. They wouldn't need to pay $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 options to basically make it a decent car.
So if you were to compare this to a Macan GTS, it's what, 20, 30 grand more?
$20,000 more, more or less on MSRP.
Yeah.
But what Maserati is trying to do is to grab some market share from Macan. They are very aggressive on leasing programs, lease programs. And it is actually connected to some perception in public about reliability, depreciation, and all those that we can touch base with shortly. They want to lease these cars to rebuild their reputation in public and have people gain confidence in Maserati and Grecale model. Although it is $20,000 more expensive in MSRP, actually when people want to lease, the payments are on par between the two cars, Macan GTS and Grecale Trofeo.
Trofeo, yeah. Which is an interesting point. When we talk about Maserati making a comeback, I think the primary point of it all is, how do you make these cars accessible to people? And the one way they're doing that is through these aggressive lease rates so that these cars can get into the hands of consumers. And the other side of it is the reliability. Like you said, people want to rebuild that confidence with Maserati. Historically, it has been an issue.
Yes.
But they've improved on that ever since that with the launch of these type of cars, right?
So what they have been doing, Prabal, is basically Maserati is a sibling company to Alfa Romeo. And they released a platform called the Giorgio platform for Giulia and Stelvio. And the brand, the group actually tested the platform, the engine and transmission on Stelvio for a few years. Many people may not know that Grecale is sharing the same platform as Stelvio, Alfa Romeo Stelvio SUV. But as you can see, the fit and finishing, the dashboard, the layout, everything is different. But the engine and transmission on the base Grecale model, 2-liter 4-cylinder engine and ZF 8-speed transmission are the same. So what they changed compared to previous generation Maserati is Italian brands, especially Maserati, older generations, they used to get supplies from Italian suppliers mostly, like Magneti Marelli, injectors or control modules, etc., etc. Now, when you pop the hood, you may see Bosch, Siemens, and some other very common Japanese or German suppliers also. And they changed their mindset. They shifted their mindset from using more Italian parts to using more reliable and, how can I say, proven parts.
Yes.
They are supplying now, sourcing their components from whatever brand and component is leading their market. They get those and then put them in together. And that's how they are planning to improve the reliability part of it.
The same suppliers that's supplying to Audi, BMW, Porsche could be leveraged.
That's what they are doing. Like the transmission, as you and some of our viewers know, that ZF 8-speed transmission is now being used on many common luxury SUVs and vehicles.
This thing is what, like 400 horsepower?
This is 523 horsepower.
Oh, wow. And the Macan is way less.
Yes.
On a Macan GTS.
That's another point of view, how to beat the competition. Because Macan's clientele is rock solid, we would say, right? Whoever is looking for a luxury performance utility vehicle in this segment, the first contender is probably Macan and Macan GTS or other performance lineups. So they try to beat it with the performance, with the fit and finish, especially in the standard feature fit and finish, and now they are trying to beat or match the pricing. So they're trying to go above and beyond to grab market share from Porsche in this case, and of course, as we said, rebuild the confidence in the consumer.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy. So what, you said
23 horsepower.
23 horsepower, made it to an 8-speed ZF automatic. It's not the dual clutch.
It is a dual clutch.
Oh, is it?
Yeah,
Okay.
it is a dual clutch.
Okay, that's cool.
And this engine is the same engine, Nettuno engine, that's developed by Maserati 100%. That is being used in MC20 and Gran Turismo models as well. It's just a detuned version.
Okay. Speaking of the engine, historically, Maserati had taken Ferrari engines, right?
Yes.
Especially in the top trim, like the one that you have in the showroom. What was it called?
Gran Turismo. Oh, Levante. Sorry, the previous Gran Turismo, Levante, Ghibli, Quattroporte.
Mm-hmm.
They had Ferrari-derived engines, or directly adapted from Ferrari engines. F136 engines that Ferrari used in F430, F458, and California T, for example. Maserati used it for decades, almost more than a decade, on some of the models.
That was like a crazy V8, naturally aspirated V8 that they had in those, right?
Exactly, 4.2 and 4.2 to 4.7 V8s, that signature Maserati sound. On the previous generation Gran Turismo, even Alfa Romeo 8C, MC12 in the previous years.
Are folks losing that sort of sound with the new generation of cars? Obviously, V6 is not the same as a V8. But this thing sounds pretty aggressive still, regardless.
Yeah, of course, they had to downsize the V8 to V6 for various reasons, right? One of them is, of course, to reduce their carbon emission pool for the whole brand. And the other one is, of course, to have turbo power to generate more power from smaller engine. In fact, Nettuno engine, and you would be surprised when you hear this, Nettuno engine is the highest horsepower output per liter in the market right now.
For any V6, you mean?
For any engine.
Oh, wow.
So compared to Lamborghini, McLaren, Porsche engines, compare any engine, it is the highest output per liter in the market.
Well, that's pretty cool. So as a potential buyer in the market, for a car like this, a GTS or a Grecale Trofeo, there's a lot of cool things. Power is one. There's a lot more power, so whoever's driving it better be pretty awake when they're driving a car like this. Standing out from the crowd, that's another big factor. The reliability, we talked about that a little bit, but like you say, and I think others say this too, every manufacturer has issues. But I think the key is how these manufacturers deal with those issues. What is that service like? How do they deal with the customer? That experience will erase that sort of concern, in my view.
Yeah. Maserati still has the privilege of producing not as many cars as Porsche, for example. There are, of course, pros and also cons. But one of the pros, I would say, from customer experience perspective, is that the services are more tailored, I find. When there is an issue, we can actually jump on a call and call the country manager or North American CEO or country's director, parts of operations, etc., and get into that case. So if Prabal is having an issue with his Maserati, you wouldn't be surprised hearing from the CEO of North America talking about this or being on this case personally. So that's more tailored service. We have privilege of this, at least so far. But with the increased volume, it may change over time. As far as it goes, I think that's a pro from the customer experience perspective compared to the others.
What's the word? It's more a boutique service.
Exactly.
Because it's a premium product. It's not at scale like the other brands. Therefore, you still get that sort of white glove service, if you will.
Exactly.
Talking about the design and the features, I think this car looks good. Some say it's a bit feminine. That's some of the feedback on the internets. And that it's not as aggressive as some of the competitors. But if you get the Trofeo with the air suspension, and this is slammed, it looks pretty good.
Yes.
It looks very aggressive.
It looks aggressive, especially with the carbon fiber, diffusers, staggered wheels. As you mentioned, the air suspension, it looks more aggressive than the base version, which was told it is feminine-looking vehicle. Maserati first launched this concept, and if I remember correctly, Geneva Motor Show almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And Levante was still in the market and new to the market. Actually, not even new to the market. Maserati released that they were going to be launching an SUV, but the SUV they revealed at the car show was actually more similar to Grecale today than the Levante. So I guess they have been working on this design language. If you check the new Gran Turismo and MC20, the headlights, the front fascia, some lines are pretty similar. So I think they stick to the same design language now for the whole entire lineup. And whether it's feminine or not, you'll experience it yourself, how it drives, how it handles. It is a good contender for this segment.
I think it looks elegant. It's like a timeless design, if you will. I think 10 years from now, the Maserati cars will, the design, the exterior design, would age really well. I think where Maseratis failed before was in the interior technologies and things like that, and they've addressed that here. It looks modern, a lot of high-tech gadgets, things that you would expect to see in modern cars are here. Performance charts, Android Auto, CarPlay.
Yes, digital watch that we can make it actually G-force meter or brake and gas pedals, etc., depending on how the driver prefers. But as you said, it is the design has a language that I keep saying design language, but it has a way that this chime, by the way, is to warn. It's good for the drivers. It's a warning for the cameras. Whether it's a
proximity
speed camera
sensors,
or exactly. No, it's actually either as a speed camera or red light camera. There should be a speed or red light camera around.
No way.
So the car warns the driver for that. It is integrated to the navigation GPS
with
system.
523 horsepower, that's a good feature to have.
Exactly. It's a good selling point, right? Like when you go to a Costco, let's say, and pull in, you would catch a lot of people taking picture of this car, walking around, and it is not that of a exotic car or a super expensive car or anything like that, but the Maserati logo, the trident, and the perception still, or the impression in people are still like as if this is a Ferrari. It is not, because it's not common, although it's on par in terms of the price and performance with Macan. People still think the design is different that they haven't seen before. The Trident logo speaks itself, and it is more attractive vehicle than many others that, although they are better cars in ways or more expensive cars in ways, they are not as attractive as this car is now.
It's not too fuzzy. Inside, things are very simple. It's straight to the point. It doesn't feel cheap like some of the previous generation, like the Levante, for example, had buttons that felt like it came out of Dodge car, for example. But here, all the buttons, the door open, there's no handle, but it's a button to push in and out. It all feels very premium, leather everywhere.
And aluminum speaker covers actually, and the speakers. So, as you said, Levante was sharing more visible parts with Dodge or other Stellantis brands, which I understand, because I wouldn't expect a low volume car manufacturer to design everything from scratch for themselves. But now they are actually doing it more and more in the newer generation Maseratis, especially in the Grecale, because they are planning to now increase their volume. Up until 2013, 2014, Maserati was still producing 7,000, 7,500 units globally. Ferrari was actually back then producing the same amount of vehicles. Imagine. So it's still not as high volume as Porsche or Jaguar or some other brands. So of course, from the cost perspective, they had to share some parts.
Yeah, just to make it accessible. I appreciate that consumers have this choice. You have something that's equivalent. I think if you look at the competitive landscape, the Macan was in a space of its own. There was no real competitor in that segment, I would think, the premium small SUV type of car.
Yes. Macan is a luxury and performance utility vehicle that makes it stand out, or made it stand out from Mercedes GLC AMG line and BMW X3 and X3M, right?
Yeah.
So now there is another contender in town, and let's see how it's going to go.
Yeah. Very compelling offering for sure. This is also coming in an EV variant.
Yes.
Personally, for me, I don't think I'm ready for an EV variant, but it looks good. What's it called?
Folgore.
Folgore.
Yes. Grecale Folgore. Yeah, Maserati wanted to, I would say, catch that train because especially up until a year or two ago, there was still a big hype on electric vehicles. Some brands do that sooner than the others. Maserati, I find, is a bit late in that game, but they still wanted to be in the game. They released the Folgore version of Grecale and Gran Turismo and Gran Cabrio also, and they will soon announce newer and other electrified vehicles in other segments and other models.
I guess the hope is that this lineup of cars will be successful so they can start focusing on those emotional sports cars like they used to.
Well, MC20 now is the halo model, and they will probably bring a replacement, let's say, of Levante, a bigger size SUV. And so far, those are the plans that are officially shared. We'll see if they will keep making four-door sedans or not, because the demand in the market globally has decreased drastically for all brands.
Yeah, it's true.
So
it's weird. Like Audi and BMWs are the only ones that's still offering sedans, four-door sedans.
Yes. So it is sad to see for petrol heads and car enthusiasts like us, but I guess brands have to consider doing that from their profitability.
Yeah, it's like
purposes.
SUV and up, like small, mid-size to large, full-size SUV to trucks. That's where people are going, and sports cars, obviously, in a segment of its own. Most manufacturers are rolling back their EV plans anyways. So the fact that Maserati took their time and making it an offering that it's not EV only, I think is a great way to go. I think manufacturers that come back and say, oh, we're pure EV only, are suffering a lot right now.
Maserati is actually now providing all sorts of buyers with an option. As you mentioned, there is a full EV vehicle, there is a 2-liter 4-cylinder vehicle in this segment, or other segments also. There is either EV for Gran Turismo, Gran Cabrio, or combustion engine, internal combustion engine, and sporty trim levels, performance trim levels, or more lower and tame trim levels, let's say. So it is a good lineup, and it's a good strategy to have a bit of both.
I personally think that is the right approach to take. Oh yeah, there is a speed camera here. Good job. Mandating that everyone should have an EV is the wrong approach. I think it should be a choice. It's a free world. So if you want to have an EV, go for it. If you want to have an ICE, it's efficient, go for it.
Exactly.
If you want a hybrid, go for it. That's your choice. And I think all of these regulations are going to pull back as a result of this. And they're already doing that.
They're already doing that. And whether the governments or the brands, they are reducing, in fact, in our world, the Quebec government is now, as of January 2025, they are reducing the EV rebates that they are providing the consumers with. And some brands like Porsche, for example, they decided to put combustion engine in initially designed as EV vehicles.
Yes.
So, yeah, the world is changing. The manufacturers are trying to adapt to it. And Maserati is one of them to basically go a bit of both first, and then they'll probably adjust their game as they go.
Yeah. Well, I'm so happy I don't know why this is, but the EVs just, they look so much cooler. They look so much more concept-like, and they've come into production. And when it comes to combustion cars, somehow they drop the ball on the fitment, the look, the wheel to body ratio. But EVs just seem to have it so, and I hope with this move with Porsche and others to bring combustion engines into the EV designed cars, I think it'll be really cool. Like, for example, Taycan.
Yes.
Imagine a V8 or a flat six in a Taycan.
Taycan.
Oh, game over.
Sport Turismo,
Yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be a nice car to drive for sure.
So from that perspective, Maserati is ahead of the game because now they have a platform where they can offer all these different variants on the same platform.
Exactly. And different models also, not just Grecale. As I said, they're planning to do full electric MC20. They already have full electric Gran Turismo and Gran Cabrio, as well as the performance engine options.
Let's see here. We had a few questions. Oh yeah, Maserati doesn't have the best reputation for reliability. Has that changed in recent years? We touched on that already, the reasons why.
Exactly. I can now remove my general manager of Maserati Ottawa jacket and share something as a consumer, because I've been driving, or my spouse actually has been driving this car for a year now at home. And what I can say is we have done like over 20,000 kilometers in a year, and we never had any reliability issues or anything like that so far. So we just had to bring the car to service for an oil change within the 1 year of ownership, and that's it so far. So I don't see any common issues or so far any red flags from an ownership perspective about reliability.
This question was from Alan F Sports Z. He has Lexus.
Nice car.
Looks like he's very curious. Next one is Kang with Hulin Drives, and he wants to know about the speed and the handling compared to its competitors. So when I switch over,
why don't you experience it yourself?
Yeah. Oh, what was that? Oh, that's telling me.
It's thinking if the car is running and the driver goes out.
Right. Wow, you're in this racing position right now.
That's my
daily.
That's my daily driving position.
So when it comes to the seating position, it's pretty nice. It hugs you. Everything kind of wraps around you, doesn't? It feels a bit more open than a Macan, in my view.
In terms of the bolsters, you mean? Or the flexibility of
the space inside.
I see.
That's pretty cool.
Another feature that you can adjust your bolsters, upper bolsters, you can make them tighter.
That's what,
or wider from
18-way seating?
Exactly.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, where's the drive mode?
Now it is the button.
Yeah.
So there is no gear selector.
Okay.
Now the gear selector is actually integrated to the screens. As
Makes
buttons.
it clean space here.
Yes.
We drive highway. We give it a nice pull.
Yeah, you do you.
Man, it feels tight. I think this is the first time I'm driving it, so this is a good first impressions, and I like it. The steering is pretty direct.
It is. As I said, the goal was to have something that handles well. Not as good as a sports car maybe, but at least like a sedan, and have enough power-weight ratio also.
Wow. Yeah, I like it. These paddle shifters, these are still the Ferrari-inspired paddle shifters, big aluminum shifters that stay with the stock and
mounted on the column.
Mounted on the column, yeah. And it feels special, man. I'm genuinely taken aback.
It feels premium.
Yes.
I'm really glad to see that with the new model, or new models in general, because Gran Turismo is actually the same, which is competition of 911 in some ways. It looks premium. It seems like it feels premium, which is a big improvement compared to previous generation Maserati models.
Yeah.
they were premium, but when you look at the price point versus what you get now, they look outdated these days.
Yeah, I like it. Very modern, very posh. I like it. I can't wait to give it a nice
pull, nice push actually.
You did a launch earlier. Me standing outside.
Yes.
And listening to it, it sounded pretty good. There was a lot of oomph in the takeoff.
It sounds really good. Those exhaust sounds and the pops, you can feel that it's not fake. It's a pure performance vehicle.
So some of the sound is being fed in through the speakers in this car, I would assume.
No,
no,
not really. Not like some Audi models, for example, because I used to own an Audi S5 as when you had the RS5. Now you are driving an SQ5. Those cars had, except for the RS5, I'm not sure if RS5 has sound coming through the speaker, but S5, SQ5, they do.
Yeah.
But in this case, there is no exhaust sound really coming from anywhere else but the back.
That's pretty cool. BMW is pretty notorious for having them feed sound through the speakers. It's pretty artificial. You can pull the fuse out and you can clearly tell how much they're pumping in. Audis, what I understand is that they're feeding that through vibrations of the windshield. So they have a little device that will resonate the sound through the windshield.
Wow.
And it creates that effect. But this is cool.
All right, let's take the highway.
All right, on-ramp coming up. Let's see if we can get to it. Man, 520 horsepower. It sounds really good. I'm not going crazy, but at the same time, man, that sounds good. Even the downshifts, it's just so accessible. And so snappy, the shifting.
And I like the rev matching and actually the software of the transmission on this car. It fits like a glove, as people would say, right?
So it red lines around 6.5. There you go.
I don't think this is fake.
No, that's...
You cannot fake this.
You felt the kick on the upshift. You felt the kick and you feel where the burbles came from.
Yes.
It came from the back. It was very clear. And it didn't feel like it was just 360 experience in here.
Exactly.
Like the artificial
It wasn't
sound.
like a surround loop coming from the speakers.
Okay. I'm sold. When can I get one?
Your next car can be a Grecale Trofeo now. That's a big wow factor to me, putting a big smile on people's face when they do a test drive with any car, any model.
Yeah.
And it's good to see that you're enjoying the drive.
I'm genuinely impressed with this car. It has everything. I was thinking of this in my head. Someone being in the Porsche world, owning a Macan GTS for so many years, and now the Porsche Cayenne Turbo. I think the only thing I'm missing in this car are the surface coated brakes for the brake dust scenario, or carbon ceramic brakes of some sort.
Yes.
And if they had that as an offering, this would, for me, at the very least, would be a slam dunk.
Yeah. They may offer a carbon ceramic brake option in the future. Right now it is not an option. I guess Maserati engineers did their work and basically didn't need it, didn't see the need to have a carbon ceramic brake. But as you said, surface coated brakes would be at least helpful to reduce the brake dust. Because people like yourself, I know how clean you want to keep your cars and the wheels. You wouldn't like the brake dust coming from the OEM brake pads.
It's atrocious. What I would do with a car like this with air suspension is get some drop links and some new wheels.
And that's it.
And that's all you need with this car. Really cool. Leather,
real
There's carbon fiber everywhere.
For example, these carbon fiber trims are standard for this car. These upper dashboard leather trims are standard for this car. That's what I was saying about providing more standard options than competition to go above and beyond.
I love how the steering is weighted. I don't think there's different modes to it, right?
No, not for the steering wheel, no. It changes depending on the driving mode, but GT or sport modes, and maybe it's better to mention the viewers that there are different driving modes, of course, like some other models. And we have been mostly driving on GT and sports mode today. And there is also a Corsa mode, which is a track mode, which disables the traction control and changes the software, of course, but we didn't need it today.
No. This is the mode that I would be in all the time. As a daily. What was it? It was a sport?
It was a sport with softer suspension. So we can adjust the damper stiffness also, not just the right height. So right height is an inch lower than regular one. And basically, normally the default sport mode is stiffer suspension. We made it softer because of the city.
Wow. Steering wheel is a good size. Man, I don't know what else you would need.
And good thing probably about the new lineup, I find, is when you get into a Gran Turismo, it is the same layout.
Yeah.
The steering wheel design is the same. So people don't need to look around, try to find their way to operate the vehicle.
It becomes muscle memory at that point.
Exactly.
Is this the same steering wheel from an MC20 as well? Or
it is pretty much the same. The design is the same. The buttons are placed slightly differently in MC20. And the screen is different. Of course, there are less of a screen surface on MC20. But the main screen is pretty similar. The ease of use and the software is identical.
Like everyone else, they've gone full digital cluster as well, which isn't a bad thing. I think it's pretty nice, very clear, very crisp. Yeah, I could live with this on a daily basis.
It's a good daily driver. It's a good daily driver for someone who wants a bit of performance and practicality together.
What do you all think? Let me know in the comments below. Is this new Grecale the way you would go if you needed to get into an SUV, a small mid-size SUV? I think this is a very great offering. What sort of active assistance does it have?
It has, this particular one doesn't have level 2, but you can get a level 2 autonomous driving, basically. But as standard, it comes, of course, adaptive cruise control, lane departure warning, lane keeping assist, emergency rear braking, some sort of features like that.
I don't trust all that yet, so I'm okay. Those are things that I wouldn't option on the car. If there was a choice, I wouldn't do all the autonomous driving bits.
They're useful, especially for the long commutes, I find, on highways, because I often do these kind of commutes, and honestly, those driving features, adaptive cruise control especially, is one of my best friends lately.
This has been amazing, man. Thank you.
Pleasure.
When it comes to this Grecale, I am genuinely impressed by all that it's offering. Minus the one thing I mentioned about my desire for surface-coated brakes or carbon ceramic brakes, because brake dust will drive me nuts. If someone is considering a luxury SUV, what would be your elevator pitch for the Grecale?
And I use it actually when I had a chance to talk to customers who are shopping for a Grecale, and mentioned in the video also, the rarity of the car. It stands out.
Yeah.
When you park it somewhere, actually we should do a social test for that. When you park it anywhere, people get really excited when they see the car. So that's number one factor. The second is the emotions. The engagement of the driver with full emotions when driving the car, as you did when you're driving highway upshifting, with the exhaust sounds and the kick you feel, the torque you feel, and fit and finishing. You know, I feel like touching each and every surface when I'm in this car.
Yeah. From a dealership perspective, how has the customer response been to the Grecales?
So far, really has been good because we measure it by the comebacks to service, right? So we haven't been seeing like so many customers so often, except for the services.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing from the dealership's perspective. Tells a lot about the reliability and the improvements the brands have made. And so we are satisfied with the Grecale particularly, and we are hoping that moving forward it's going to be the same.
How can potential buyers in Ottawa experience the Grecale for themselves?
Of course, they can visit us at 611 Montreal Road, Maserati, Ottawa, and our sales team can definitely assist them with the test drive and walk around the vehicle. And we do side-by-side comparisons. As you and some of the viewers would know, we are part of Mark Morrow's group. We have sibling stores, which are also competition to us.
Yeah.
So that's why we provide customers with side-by-side comparisons. So they are more than welcome to visit us, get some nice cup of Nespresso, and
go for a drive. We're gonna have to bring the Cayenne Turbo, the Macan GTS, and this on a future video. Let's do a comparison.
Let's do that. Let's do that. That would be a great comparison.
I hope you all enjoyed this type of car talk. This is more of a drive and talk. I wanted to change it up. We haven't done a car talk episode in a very long time, so change it up, go on site, drive and talk. What do you all think? Let me know in the comments below as well. Do you like this format of a car talk video? And I look forward to doing a lot more. John's pretty motivated to do more content like this with me as well, so I look forward to seeing him in future videos with likely other cars as well.
Exactly.
Maybe the MC20, huh? No?
Yes, why not? In the summer, on the bucket list.
That's awesome.
Let's do it. And thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, thank you all. Subscribe, do all those things, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you all.
Thanks, man.
Oh yeah, the fist bump.
Good. Yeah.